there.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. Happy Sunday, friends and lovers, and welcome to the final episode of 2020.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
2020. Welcome to the final episode of 2020. This is 5 Minutes with Robert Nasir. I am Robert Nasir. This is my delightful, beautiful, charming co-host, Amy Nasir.
Amy Nasir. That is my name.
No relation. Well, some relation. And you know who you are. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Oh my gosh, today is Sunday, December 27th, the 361st day of the year. It's like we're running out. And we are, because it's just 5 days left in the year, 6 days until New Year's Day. New Year's Eve is this Thursday, December 31st. Mm-hmm. New Year's Day is on Friday. Yikes. Incidentally, there are 363 days until Christmas. 334 days to Halloween, 99 days to Easter. But I think what we're going to focus on for the next few weeks, because we want you to enjoy it as much as we do, and that is 49 days until Valentine's Day.
Ooh.
And if you're not already feeling the love as we get closer, you are going to feel it. And on this date, December 27th, in 1932, Radio City Music Hall opened. Very cool. At the height of the Great Depression, 1932.
Yeah.
This is what the Rockefellers can do. This is what you get when you have wealthy people, when you have a country that's free enough that wealth can be created. At the height of the Great Depression, thousands turn out for the opening of Radio City Music Hall, a magnificent Art Deco theater in New York City. Radio City Music Hall was designed as a palace for the people, a place of beauty where ordinary people could see high-quality entertainment. Since its 1932 opening, more than 300 million people have gone to Radio City to enjoy movies, stage shows, concerts, and special events.
So that was during the height of the Depression.
1932.
Wow.
Crazy. And it's a reminder that, for example, this year, even though everything has been nuts, all sorts of great and wonderful and amazing things have happened.
Yes, they have.
And we will talk about that.
Yeah, Jennifer. Hey, Jennifer.
Jennifer
She
is
says,
on. All right.
2021 has to be better, and I think it will be.
I don't think it could possibly. Well, somebody's going to say, "Oh, don't say that." You know, jinx it. And,
you might jinx it.
It'll find a way to be worse. And given everything, that there may be something to that. Not the woo, just the possibility. Radio City Music Hall was the brainchild of billionaire John D. Rockefeller Jr., who decided to make the theater the cornerstone of the Rockefeller complex he was building in a formerly derelict neighborhood in Midtown Manhattan. Well, that sounds as crazy as building the world's tallest skyscraper in Hell's Kitchen. The theater was built in partnership with the Radio Corporation of America, which we all know and love as RCA.
Yeah.
The result was an Art Deco masterpiece of elegance and grace constructed out of a diverse variety of materials, including aluminum, gold foil, marble, permatex, glass, and cork. Radio City Music Hall opened today in 1932.
I get a kick out of that.
Yes. Well, you got the legs, although you would have took some practice to get on stage.
Yeah, a little bit of practice, yeah. So Mary Aline says, more hugs in 2021.
Oh my gosh,
That's right.
Firmer handshakes and longer hugs, 2021. That's my motto for the year.
It will be a
Firm
hug.
handshakes and long hugs, the kind of hugs that'll get you in trouble. I swear the Me Tooers are going to be coming after me. That hug's a little long, don't you think? Also, happy birthday to astronomer Johannes Kepler. Mm-hmm. Well, he's not around. He was born in 1571, but the man behind Kepler's laws of planetary motions has a birthday today, as does scientist Louis Pasteur, the man who keeps our milk fresh for so long. I'm still kind of confused. A few years ago, the ultra-high temperature pasteurization came out, and now you can put milk on a shelf. It doesn't even have to be refrigerated. That's so crazy.
Does Louis Pasteur live in your refrigerator to make sure that the milk stays fresh?
His process does. Yes.
Just think of him. He's the one who turns on and off the light.
I've always wondered who does that. Damn it, somebody does it. Sometimes as you open the door, you can just barely see somebody flicking that switch. And also, happy 70th birthday to Terry Bozzio.
Oh, yes, the drummer.
The amazing drummer Terry Bozzio, featured on 9 solo or collaborative albums, 26 albums with Frank Zappa, and my very favorite, 7 albums with the band Missing Persons.
Mm-hmm.
Terry Bozzio is 70 years old today. It's also National Fruitcake Day. Does anybody actually eat fruitcake?
I do, sometimes.
Well, we haven't received a fruitcake in a while.
So well, there you go, people.
Watch, somebody's going to mail you a fruitcake. And then you'll have to prove that you actually eat fruitcake.
Make sure it's soaked in rum.
We'll do that right here on the podcast. That's right. Amy received a fruitcake, and now she's going to prove that she actually eats it.
Yes.
Also, it's National Cutout Snowflakes Day. I did a few of those. Oh, I forgot to bring them with me. I don't have my props handy, but it is National Cutout Snowflake.
Imagine I'm holding up a snowflake of paper.
That's right. We are snowflakes on this podcast. Yes.
I can always grab it from the tree over there.
You could, if you had a mind to.
I do.
The one on the tree, I don't know, it's as fancy as the other ones that I did, but.
Well, I'll get the other ones then, real quick.
Amy is off camera. Oh my gosh, it's just me. I should put on a show. Dancing in my seat. Okay, that's as good as it gets. Sorry, folks. I wonder about holidays like National Cutout Snowflakes Day. I mean that doesn't even seem like a Hallmark holiday. Who started? Who makes any money? Who is benefited by this?
Look at this pretty.
Somebody had the charming idea. So this is always fun, and there are instructions online which I didn't have the sense to follow, but. You can find instructions online and take your kids through the process of cutting out
sort of an irregular.
Yeah, that was more like a Rorschach test. Can you look at that snowflake and tell what's wrong with me?
Tell me, what do you see?
What do you see? I see the world exploding into 10,000 little pieces. Who cut that out? That's terrible. What do you see in that?
I see cupcakes.
Yeah, well, that one definitely looks like cupcakes. That could be the top of a cupcake. That could be a pattern of the frosting.
Yes.
Although it also kind of looks like a doily.
Yeah, it's nice.
You could
this one is very
put a
special.
teapot on it and a tea cozy over it.
For those who are audio only, imagine us holding up beautiful
yes, that's
paper
right. This
snowflakes.
is a podcast, isn't it? Not everybody is on YouTube or Facebook Live, so sorry about that.
The
but trust me.
snowflakes are white and made of paper.
And if you couldn't see them, you can imagine they were actually really, really like incredibly artistic. For those of you who actually could see them, I'll leave it to you to decide just how good they were. But National Cutout Snowflakes Day. Do that with your kids. That's one of those fun things you can do. Costs almost nothing, but the cost of a few sheets of paper, and make sure you have a really good pair of scissors. The kids' safe scissors aren't always good for that kind of thing. What are we listening to this week? Well, I haven't listened to too many podcasts. Still taking in Yaron Brook. He's always good.
And celebrating Christmas time.
But what I've really been listening to is 2 Amy's on saxophone.
Oh, goodness. 2 Amy's and a Robert.
2 Amy's on saxophone. We posted this to YouTube. In fact, it's on the same channel. If you're watching on YouTube, it's on the same channel you're watching it on. The link it's already in the show notes, so make sure you take a look at the show notes. It'll be posted after the show. If you haven't already seen Amy playing saxophone with Amy and me strumming a guitar, but no,
twin
it's
sister Amy.
Yes, it's very cool. Yeah, folks have seen I've done these videos where I'll play guitar and then I'll have me over there playing bass or some other thing, and those are fun. But this time we got Amy to do one. In fact, Amy wanted to do one. She came to me and said, "Robert, I want to do one of those things," and I was like, "Oh my God, that's so cool."
Yeah. So I had basically melody and harmony parts for that, and we put them together and played the saxophone with it.
Too cool.
It's really fun.
Love it.
Really fun.
Also, you'll see in the background of that video there is a fireplace. And obviously it's not a fireplace, it's a fireplace playing on my television.
Yes.
And that was fun. We will often put up a video of a fireplace on the television because we don't have a fireplace. And one of my YouTube friends said, "Oh, that's cool. Where'd you get that from?" And it was funny to me because I thought, "Oh, everybody knows that. I'm sure everybody does that." But just in case you don't have a fireplace, or even if you do, and you've never done it before, go to YouTube and look up fireplace, and you will find 10-hour videos. And during the holidays, they don't even interrupt them with commercials. Your television becomes a fireplace. And, TVs are efficient, but they still generate some heat. So, heck, it's not even all for show. So, good fun there.
Yes.
Now, since I just mentioned fireplaces, and I mentioned Amy playing We Wish You a Merry Christmas with Amy.
And Robert.
And me. How was Christmas? How did everybody do for Christmas this year?
It was so fun. I hope that you all had a lot of fun and everything. And this was, honestly, it was one of the best Christmases ever for us.
And it's 2020. How is that possible? But you know, sometimes when you have to deal with challenges, you end up doing more than you would have done otherwise.
Well, I want to thank Jeff Bezos of Amazon.
Jeff Bezos of Amazon. Why are we thanking Jeff Bezos of Amazon for a good Christmas?
Because, he allowed me to, he set up a company to where I could just shop online and it would just come to the door and it was great.
Well, that's true because you made crafty items. Even though the highlights of your crafts weren't from Amazon, they provided bags and they provided ribbons they provided some of the goodies that went in there.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, they provided most of this little bag here. So this is a Happy New Year bag. It says, take good care of yourself and have a Happy New Year. And it has some Christmas tea in it. It has some, my favorite lotion, which is the Gold Bond Healing, which is great. And then the Burt's Bees lip balm. And this is a beautiful cinnamon candle, all natural beeswax from Orem Naturals, our friends candle company Orem Naturals. And it says here, it says caffeinate, which is the tea, meditate, which is the candle, moisturize, which is the Burt's Bees and the Gold Bond, and then rhapsodize, just think of pleasant thoughts.
And then what is step 5?
Repeat.
Repeat. I like that.
So I put this bag together. It's really, really cute. Actually, we have a few of these bags left. So if you want me to send you one of these for the new year, please go ahead and put in the comments. First, go to YouTube and like and share and subscribe and all of that stuff if you haven't already.
Well, yeah, you've only got so many of those. You're going to give priority to the people who like and show the share. Like and show the share. Like and share the show.
Sure.
Sally sells seashells by the seashore.
Sally sells seashells by the seashore. I always say that before the podcast.
About that? Yeah, that looks normal. What on earth just happened? Well, I apologize for that, and I'm so excited to listen after the show to see what that sounded like. It looks like it must have been horrible because it was all in the red zone there, and hopefully that wasn't going on too long. But thank you for letting us know. Oh my gosh.
Chris says that worked.
Yeah. Well, you could see it right there. It was like all in the red zone.
Good. Thank you, friends.
And, hopefully that didn't go on too long, and hopefully I wasn't saying anything too important, but I was saying thank you to my daughter at the time for this lovely black felt hat. Totally awesome. A little too warm to wear during the podcast, so again, I'm back to my usual thing. And here, I'll leave that there just to show it off. And thank you. Thank you for letting us... that won't stay. Thank you for letting us know about the audio. So yeah, we were talking about Christmas, which was too much fun this year. And favorite parts, some of the favorite parts of Christmas for me were singing Christmas carols. And I'm not usually a Christmas carols guy, but for example, we went out to Mark and Echo's house.
Yeah.
Mark and Echo being supporters of the show and listeners to the show, and two of our favorite people in the whole world, and we sang them a Christmas song from the yard. In fact, we did that for your dear friend Sue as well, with the guitar, because I have a guitar that lives in the car. It's not a very good guitar, but that way I don't have to worry about the fact that it lives in a car. Everybody should have a guitar in their car.
I'm laughing at the funny comments. There might. It starts with Chris saying it's the heater arising from the dead. That buzzing sound.
Yes,
that was going
yes,
on.
yeah. It's probably my furnace seeking some kind of strange retribution or something.
David says it's furnace, the zombie furnace.
Yes.
That's great. Well, we'll make sure that we keep our furnace, in line, under control next time.
Well, he probably heard that we're now talking about replacing it, and it's like,
Don't say that.
We'll see about that. Yes. I'll mention Patreon later, but a quick shout out to our Patreon supporters for buying us a new furnace.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Coming soon. One of my other favorite parts about Christmas was that I actually sent out Christmas cards.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I always send out a few Christmas cards.
Oh, boy, did you.
But this year, I actually sent out, this is my Christmas card list here. And
that's just amazing. And
it went to page 2 there, so 60 Christmas cards went out this year.
That is great.
That was great fun.
If you received one from us and you still want to send us one, please go ahead and.
Well, I was going to say, if you didn't receive one from me, but you did
Yes.
submit an address,
Right, let us know.
either to my Facebook Messenger or to Amy's Christmas card list, let me know and I'll get you a New Year's card.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get you a January card.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get you a blank card that I will write something clever in.
Yes, Jennifer says with calligraphy.
With calligraphy.
Beautiful.
Or
yes.
something like it. So yeah, that was one of my favorite parts of this year's Christmas as well. But yeah, if you didn't receive one, let me know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we've done a bit of our year in review, and I know Amy's done a lot more of that already than I have. I'll be posting my usual year in review to Facebook.
Yeah.
If you want a funny year in review, Dave Barry has already done Dave Barry's Year in Review 2020, and a link to that is in the show notes. As always, it's very, very funny. It always, reading the Dave Barry review of the year, always reminds me of things that happened that even I had forgotten about, despite being as news savvy and politically engaged as I am. I still didn't remember a handful of the things that are in this. The other thing about it is it's too long. They're always too long, but
Yeah.
that means you can read them in chunks. And it's good because he breaks them down by month. So if you've read, January, February, April, there's another month in there. January, February, March, April. So you take in 4 of them and then you set it aside until your next need for a laugh. And then you just read the next 4 months and the next 4 months. Very good Dave Barry's Year in Review.
Yes.
Do you have your year in review notes handy? Because I know
I
there were some
do.
things you wanted to mention. What did 2020 do for you?
It was amazing.
Actually, I think you kind of completed your year in review.
I mean, it was it's not. There's some details I'm sure that are still not in there, but basically what I did, and I highly encourage everybody to do this. Go back, on your Facebook wall or your calendar or whatever it is. Just go back to January. Write down all the things that have happened pre-COVID and after COVID, and
Yeah, I find my Facebook wall, my iCloud photo album, or just my photos on my devices.
That's helpful.
And my daytimer, my actual paper planner. Between those 3, I can usually throw together a pretty good year in review, and I do heartily recommend that. So what do you got there?
Oh, well, first let me just say, Chris says, quite apart from the humor, the year in review is an incredible time capsule of each year's pop culture.
Yes.
So true.
Yeah, again, there's so much in there that I don't even remember, and Dave Barry is either a super genius or he's simply a journalist. He keeps track of stuff all year, but either way, it's very clever, very smart, a little too cynical for me, not my style of humor, but very funny, very smartly done.
So, how was my year?
How was your year,
It was
Amy?
really amazing. It was filled with a lot of experimentation, with a lot of doing new things, with a lot of just not caring about
About what?
about anything. Not anything, but just like for instance, this is an example. Like Robert, you and I we'd go out, to the grocery store. We'd bundle up with our masks and everything like that, and we would just start dancing in the aisles because we were out of our house.
We were a little more whimsical than usual.
Yeah, much more whimsical than usual, and we were doing things that, gosh, I mean, we would have been much more self-conscious in doing. At least for me, I would have been more self-conscious in doing if it wasn't for this extraordinary circumstances. And it really brought out a lot of good in me. It really, really did. And I don't know if it was the fact that because honestly, gosh, I could go on forever about this, but there were so many delightful things that I didn't expect out of this year that happened. Friendships that and relationships that became much more deep than they were. Things that were just things that I didn't really notice before. Things that I didn't really take advantage of. We got to know our bird and squirrel friends in our front yard because we fed them all the time, and we still do.
We made sure the birds and squirrels were coming around. They kept us company in the daytime.
Yeah, and we needed that company.
And they're so frivolous. They're so silly that they are hilarious.
They're such little wild animals. And we did a lot of Zoom. But let me just say that these are my general accomplishments and delights. So I have two lists. I have the things that chronologically happened, from January to December, and then things that I abstracted from that and said these are my accomplishments and my moments of delight, and both things that are delightful accomplishments, I should say. So I kept running my French club at work. So every week I would get together with one or two or maybe three people, and we would have a French club, and we would go over and learn French, which was fantastic. I learned the basics of video editing with my flamenco class, where we had Zoom, and I put together a video for that, and we submitted it to a virtual art exhibition. And
I forgot about that. They couldn't do the live flamenco exhibition, so we put together a video of your past performance.
Well, no, a current performance.
Oh, it was the current
Zoom.
one. That's right, the Zoom style.
The Zoom
That's right.
video in the gallery setting and everything like that, and it actually worked out pretty well. People really did enjoy it. So, and starting back in late July, I started with couch to standing workouts.
Couch to standing workout.
And I've gone with that, every week. And I've gained a lot of strength and flexibility. I feel so much better. I mean, I feel younger. And I encouraged several friends to join me on this journey of mine. So that was fantastic. Gosh, I mean, I did a great job at work in marketing. And I did all of this. I set up a proper office, and despite, especially in April and May and June, all of these months of in quarantine and everything like that were, tended towards feeling depressed about things. But I got through it. I got, the way out is through. We decorated the outside of our house for Halloween and Christmas. Mm-hmm. We've never done this really before. I mean, we may have done this a little bit, but not like we did. It was so much fun. I made tons of jewelry for Halloween, and I sent out little care packages to people, and that was great fun. I picked up the saxophone again, made a bunch of cookies for Christmas. I threw away a whole lot of stuff. But there's more to do, but I threw away a lot of stuff, which felt wonderful. Honestly, if you need a pick-me-up and a boost, if you can get through the first initial phase of it, which is fear of throwing away things, or take a picture of it before you throw it away, and then throw it away, and it's great fun, and it's such a great feeling. Goodness, I deepened my my affection for my favorite furry friend, Coco, who's Echo's little poochie. And that's just a little aside there. But I have a symbiotic relationship with this little mini Yorkie.
Yeah.
We have not missed an entire week of 5 Minutes with Robert Nasir.
Yeah, the podcast has been...
We started March 1st. And we've kept going, and I feel so very proud of that.
Well, there's the book of life, where I started everything. There's the first page of episodes.
Oh, it's so good.
There's the second page of episodes there.
What am I accomplishing? Yeah, that's so good. I love it. And this podcast has really helped me rediscover and refocus on a lot of concepts of virtues, of good habits, of good thinking, good epistemology. All of that has really helped me out throughout all of this craziness because, as you know, people freaked out. People are still freaking out.
It's been a freaking out kind of year.
It's a freak out year. It's the year of cognitive dissonance in a lot of ways. And
did Terry Bozzio play on the album Freak Out?
I don't know.
Our Frank Zappa fans will tell us.
Please tell us. But, I was very, very proud of I'm very proud of myself because I kept my cool. I kept from freaking out when my friends were freaking out. I was patient, and I held fast to the truth that reason is efficacious and will always win eventually. And I still am holding fast to that because we're still not out of the woods. I don't think we'll ever be, but...
Well, hopefully eventually it won't be too long.
Yeah. So that's been really, really good. Very proud of myself on that. And I wrote here, I grew up a bit. I learned that I can trip myself up sometimes, but I can go forward and choose just to get things done. I'm a recovering... control freak and perfectionist, and I've really grown this year, and just getting it out there, and there it is. And just enjoying life. It's been wonderful. I cut my own hair, which I'm going to be doing here in another week or two. I'm thinking to myself, why have I gone to the salon all this time? I can cut my own hair. And I've been less stressed not having to drive to work, which is great. And even though I gotta say, working from home and being at home all the time was a real obstacle to get through. But I finally did, and I'm finally much more comfortable with it, and it's been really wonderful. And we've set up our living space in a way that is very harmonious, and I love it.
Yeah, I kind of rediscovered that our home is a good place.
Yes.
It's a home.
It's a home, and it's so
and
wonderful.
It's an office.
It's an office. It's whatever you want to be. It's a dance studio.
It's a music studio.
Exercise platform. Whatever you want it to be. It is what is you whatever. Your life is whatever you want to make it, really. And gosh, and I just want to call out somebody. I know I don't know if she's listening, but Angie. I just want to give a big shout out to her because in the early stages of this pandemic and everything, when things were so muddled and confused and there was a lot of freaking out, she put together a Facebook page about COVID-19 and information about it, which helped tremendously. And, looking back at...
it was very reasonable and non-political.
Yes, very reasonable, fact-based, science-based, non-political. These are the facts, and it was extremely helpful. So thank you, Angie. I can't wait to see you again because you are going to get a big, big hug. You
Broken
really
bones
are.
hug.
No. Just a big hug. And honestly, it was, looking back at that, when I was typing this out, I felt teary. I felt very, very emotional, in a good way, in a kind of like a cathartic relief way and happy way. But, honestly, again, I've had so many wonderful experiences with friends that I would never have ever experienced. For the last 10 years or so, our social life was basically around our Great Lakes Objectivist dinner meetings, which have been a lot of fun. But we didn't really venture out from those particular dinner parties once a month. And honestly, we've been more social this year than I think we have ever been. On, not just on Zoom, but, meeting up with people in a safe way, of course. Going to the beach, having a Halloween party in our backyard with a few people with a bonfire. Just wonderful things that I was so thrilled to be able to be experimental with and creative with and make the most out of, an otherwise dreary situation. That's the theme of 2020 for me, is that I made the most out of a dreary situation, and I love how I came up with so many creative things. And Robert did too. And I'm just so very happy. So, how about you there, Robert? How was, let's see, let me check the comments. I haven't been doing that.
Oh, I think.
Furnace is coming back.
Furnace is coming back.
Oh.
Did I have a bad wire or something? Maybe it's at the other end of the wire. How about that? Is that okay right now? Somebody in the comments let me know if the audio is okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll wait until somebody answers here.
Yeah. Maybe one of these days we'll start doing the show with headphones on. Intentionally avoided that, but it may come to that.
Yeah. Headphones.
Well, David says not yet. In answer to is that better?
Sounds like a loose cable connection. I don't know, should I try the cable on the other side there?
You want to make sure that's firmly connected to the mixer?
Watch yours, folks.
Well, let's see. It's the first channel on that mixer there. Yeah, it did kind of jump when you did that. So.
Is it better?
No. But don't touch it anymore. If you could, go ahead and turn down the white knob on that first channel. Here? Just a notch. Still more than halfway, but just over halfway.
Okay.
And
if it's just over halfway.
So if it's background noise, then that may help with it.
Okay.
Or background buzz.
Oh, right. Excellent.
Yeah, what happens is well, anyway, we won't get into the technical side of that. But yeah, if folks could let me know if it's still buzzing, and, it may turn out that that's as good as it gets until we can put more time and effort into it. And, I wonder what would be doing that. Yeah, I can see that there's kind of a low level something going on there.
Right. Should I try to unplug it and plug it back in?
No.
No?
It's analog, it's not digital, so there's nothing really that would do that. Let's see. Yeah, it's still buzzing. Where would buzzing be coming from?
Shall we try this again since it worked the last time?
I don't know that it worked last time. Yeah, I can see there's still that low level something going on there.
Okay. Well, until we figure this out.
Yeah, it may just be what it is. The other thing we could do is instead try turning that knob up.
Okay, that white one?
The white one, while I turn it down at the same time here. We're not going to spend too much time on this, folks. A little more, stop. All right, and yeah, it still seems to be the same level of signal to noise or noise to signal, but we're going to go with that. I think that's going to be a little bit better. Just the ratio will be better. If you could come back, please.
Shall I turn that knob
No,
back?
don't do anything else. Thank you. That is probably as good as it's going to get. We'll play around with this later on this week and figure out what the heck is going on. We got all this expensive equipment. Why are we getting weirdness? But anyway.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for letting us know what's going on.
They say a little bit better.
It might even be the mic cord, although it's a really expensive mic cable. But anyway, anything can wear out if you unplug it and plug it in
wear
enough.
out.
Yeah, and Jennifer says it's better. We will settle for better. In any event, that was a great review of 2020. For me, things that stood out, a lot of them are the same as you. Going to the beach, finding beaches we didn't even know existed in Michigan.
Yeah, it's so
that
fun.
That was really wild. I think we told that story before. We'll tell it again, but not right now. Going up to Mackinac Island, going to the, not just the Upper Peninsula, but to the north end of Lake Huron, and being in the waters where you can see that 5-mile bridge.
Right, the Mackinac Bridge. So beautiful.
That was sweet. Awesome stuff. 700-800 miles on the bicycle.
Yes.
That was good.
That's right.
I have to update that spreadsheet. I don't actually know how many miles I put on, but it was a lot, including, bicycling with John. My friend John Hatt, the lead singer of my band. Those were good bike rides. I kind of miss that now that the weather's too cold. A lot of good stuff in 2020, but at this point, having thought about Christmas, having thought about 2020, we've got one eye on the future. New Year's Day is coming up, and they do say you should start the year doing what you want to do all year, and that's what I've got in mind, is getting off to the right start. As George Eliot said, it's never too late to be what you might have been.
Yes.
Yes, George Eliot was a very smart man for a woman.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, Mary Ann Evans took the pen name George Eliot.
Yes.
Not just because it was difficult for women writers to be taken serious in England, but she had a unique lifestyle and other reasons to have some degree of anonymity. Or as Alfred Lord Tennyson says, ring out the old, ring in the new. Ring, happy bells, across the snow. The year is going, let him go. Ring out the false, ring in the true. George Harrison stole that first and last line for his song. Ding dong, ding dong. Ring out the old, ring in the new. Ring out the false, ring in the true.
Nice.
It's the same song where he uses the line that you've even asked me to quote because I've used it so many times. Yesterday, today was tomorrow, and tomorrow, today will be yesterday.
Yes.
Alfred Lord Tennyson, ring out the old, ring in the new. Yeah, and you had mentioned that in connection with...
I don't know, what did I?
Now I forget.
Okay.
Just before the show, and I swore I'd written it down, but maybe I will run into it here. So in any event, where am I at here? So plans for 2021. The rocking chair test has its pros and cons. The idea that in order to figure out what you should do, consider the rocking chair. When you're 80 years old and you're sitting in your rocking chair, if you don't do this thing that you want to do, will you regret it? What will be your regrets at 80? The problem with the rocking chair test is this was very handy when I was young. I first heard it from Tony Robbins. In fact, I've added to the show notes a interview he did with Marlo Thomas, where he mentions, among other things, of the rocking chair test. When I was young, the rocking chair test was very handy, and I'm listening to life coach type Zig Ziglar, Tony Robbins, people like that. And the rocking chair test, again, is imagine yourself at 80 years old or 100 years old, whatever age you think you'd actually be slowing down, sitting in your comfortable rocking chair and looking back on your life. What will you be glad you did, and what will you regret not doing? And vice versa. And the problem is I'm at a point in my life where the rocking chair test doesn't work anymore because I'm very proud of what I've accomplished.
Good.
And I'm very comfortable with that. And I really don't think I'm going to have any regrets if I don't do much more. But at the same time, there is a lot that I want to do. And so I need to find a new test, new ways to motivate myself to do those things. So I love the rocking chair test. And if you're at a point in your life where that's useful to you, listen to that interview or just read some of the articles that I linked to in the show notes. Consider the rocking chair test. It can be valuable. But if you are at a point in your life where that's not the thing, where that's not motivating you to do what you want to do next, this show just might give you what you need, because for 2021, we're going to take a lot of the content that we've already used and we're going to expand on it. And I'm going to be pushing myself to execute even more, and I'll be reporting on how that goes.
Excellent.
My plans for 2021 are to review 2020. I'll be posting my year-end review before the end of the year, or on January 1st, as I often do on Facebook. And as usual, or as it's been usual for the last year, I will be making that public. So we'll see what the privacy advocates do to me. They may well sabotage me just to show that I was crazy for making everything public. And then I will be reviewing the 2020 playlist, the Life, Living, and Related Matters series. So I mentioned previously, we've taken the episodes of 5 Minutes with Robert Nasir and we've created playlists as suggested by our patron and superfan Mark. And one of the playlists is called the Life, Living, and Related Matters series. I'm going to be reviewing that one and then figuring out, making a checklist of what information have I actually executed that I presented, what have I done well, and where have I fallen short.
Okay.
And then I'm going to be putting it into effect. And given what we've gone through, given that playlist contains our episodes on values and pride and gratitude, but also on habits. And where is my list? I had that handy. But our more practical episodes on Ideas Matter and Getting a Grip, and our episode that was called Do It. Given that those are practical matters, I will be reporting on how that goes. So my New Year's resolutions. Yes, New Year's resolutions. I've decided to give New Year's resolution goal setting another shot. As I mentioned, sometimes the rocking chair test doesn't work for me. Sometimes I look at my goals and I think, no, I'm good with where I'm at. And I find that sometimes specific goals can be empowering, but sometimes they can be limiting. If I decide I want to weigh this much or I want to earn this much, and at the same time, too much flexibility can be discipline killing. So somewhere between those two. And I think the answer is going to be to go through that series and again put together the specific goals, but also the specific habits, the manner of execution. Put together all of the whys, all of the reasons to make it all happen, just to get that kind of clarity that we talked about all year. So 2021 will be a year for audacious goals.
All right.
2013. In 2013, our band came together. We recorded our record album.
Yeah, it was a good year.
And in 2013, I turned 50 years old. I had worked very hard and decided that 2013 was going to be my best year ever. And oh my God, it was.
It was.
We played out live in our rock and roll band. My IT career was successful. That may have been the first year I hit 6 figures income. But I also let a lot of things go. I enjoyed myself probably too much. Food and recreation, and I think I gained 20 pounds that year and went up a pant size, and just, it was an amazing, oh my gosh, we had so much fun.
Yeah.
Well, 2020 was kind of like that. It was another year of letting a lot of things go in the name of just having a good year. And this time, of course, it was because there was a lot to compensate for.
Right.
A lot of you went through a lot of challenges in 2020. Maybe you did some of the same things. I joked in the summer and the fall about COVID pounds. I didn't gain any COVID pounds. Well, I can tell you, since it's gotten colder and I've stopped riding my bicycle, I've picked up a few COVID pounds. So 2021 will be a year for audacious goals. Just to see what's still possible.
Yes.
Now, I'm fairly young. I'm, in my 50s. But sometimes I feel like I'm a retired guy. And I'm back in that year of, well, it's a tough year. It's a challenging year. It's an interesting year. I'm just going to make it as good, but also as fun as I can. No more. 2021, and I'm saying it publicly, I'm saying it in front of all you good people, and I know you will hold me to it. 2021 will be my most audacious year yet. I'm going to find out basically if I've still got it in me to do the things that made me successful years ago.
Okay.
The things that got me through my first career in fast food restaurant management. The kind of ambition that got me to break out of that and go into information technology. That turned me into a six-figure performer despite having never finished my bachelor's degree. And that got me to retire early, or at least retire into a third career in my 50s. I'm not going to lay out all of those goals right now. It's not even New Year's Day. But I will tell you this. On the fitness side of things, I will get my weight down back under 200 pounds, which it went over this year. I will get down to 175 pounds.
All right.
And I will be comfortable shirt-free again.
Woohoo.
I'm not that tall, so that's still a solid weight.
Be like David Hasselhoff, on the beach.
Yes. On the financial side, I'm committed to a six-figure income again.
All right.
If I don't figure out how to do that writing and podcasting, I'm going to have to go back to IT.
Okay.
So that's kind of not a sword of Damocles. What's the word I'm looking for? In any event, that's a motivation right there. I don't really want to go back into IT, but I'm awfully good at it. And if that proves to be the only way to bring in that kind of money, that may be what I have to do.
If anybody has any suggestions for Robert about a new career or perhaps an applied career in something he already knows, please go ahead.
No, I don't want another career. No, forget that.
Well,
I don't want ideas for... I'm sorry, I don't mean to contradict my co-host. Yes, that's a great idea. And if anybody has any ideas for... I don't need a new career. I just go back to what I was doing.
Oh, I'm just thinking, something that is kind of IT, but not really, that's more fun.
But on the professional side, my specific goal is to take this podcast, broaden its appeal and audience.
Yes.
Get over 1,000 views per podcast. And to enter the Apple Podcast charts.
Yes.
As an audio-only podcast, we're not yet on the charts. We have people listening, but you need a certain level before they actually give you a chart. I don't even know what that is. But in 2021, whatever it is, we're going to reach it. So, fitness, financial, professional plans for 2021. And I'm laying that out publicly because, when you have accountability partners, people who will, remind you, hey, you said you were going to do this thing, your chance of success can shoot way up. It can, doesn't always, but it can. And I'm the kind of guy who's just bright enough to know how to make sure that happens.
Yeah.
So I will be using all sorts of techniques, all of the ones that we've laid out on the show. A few of them we've mentioned only briefly and haven't done whole shows on. So, for example, I will be using visualizations. And I mention that because this relates to the homework for the episode. Don't we always have homework? Yes, we do. My visualizations, when I look at each of these goals, is going to be questions like, what does that look like? We talked about this when we talked about habits. On a day-to-day basis, if that's what I'm going to achieve, what does that actually look like? And then I'm going to make sure my life looks like that. One visualization I like, it's a little indirect, but it's related. Tim Ferriss uses this one. What would this look like if it were easy? If I were already doing these things and I had figured out how to make it easy, what would that actually look like? Another visualization you will find useful is, what are you willing to do to achieve the results you desire? What would actually be happening? So, what would you be willing to do to achieve the results you desire? When I consider what I would have to do to make all of that happen, I say, am I willing to do that? Well, I haven't been. I've been enjoying this year too much. But in 2021, I am absolutely committed to those results. So my homework for you is pick 2 goals for 2021, 2 goals you've got. And it doesn't matter whether it's simply to dust the top shelves in your kitchen, or lose 20 pounds, or increase your salary, or buy a new rug for your front porch, a new welcome mat. Whatever the goal is, modest or audacious, pick 2 goals for 2021. Apply these 3 questions to those goals. What does that look like? What would it look like if it was easy? And what are you willing to do to achieve the result you desire? Apply those 3 questions to your 2 goals. And then the last step, which I've told you before is always the best step. Determine your next or first action. What's the very next thing you're going to do to make that thing happen? That's what I'm going to be doing in 2021. When we do our first 2021 episode, I will have made a more specific list, and I will share that with you too. Because y'all, the 100 people who are going to hear this episode tonight, and however many more happen after that, you are my accountability partners. My accountability buddies.
Be our accountability buddies.
The good news is you've all been enlisted to make sure that my next year is fantastic, and you get to go on that journey with me.
Yay.
The bad news is you're not getting paid for it. In fact, Amy's going to ask you to help us pay for the podcast when she talks. Amy is my marketer. She's the one who does
I try.
Patreon. Help us out.
I'm gonna bump it up just another Yaron Brook notch next year.
She will. So my related Post-it note for the week. I originally had a note. I have a note that says "Pain is blind."
Pain is blind.
Pain is blind.
Oh, it
what are you
sounds
talking
so
about?
dismal.
Robert doesn't talk about pain. He's always positive. No pain, no gain stuff. That's crazy.
No pain, no pain.
But I actually have a Post-it note that says "Pain is blind." I have another one that says "Pain lies." And my point when I say pain is blind or pain lies, I've realized that the resistance I feel, and I certainly feel the actual pain when I do Amy's workouts, her couch to standing workouts.
You're supposed to feel pain.
There's no pain unless you're me. Unless, because Amy will do stretches that for me are impossible.
And I always tell people, don't go
if it hurts,
so
don't
far.
do it.
Don't do it if it hurts.
But, you kind of want to keep up with your missus, so I try. Anyway, pain is blind. Pain is an indication that something is wrong, and you need to respect the pain in your life.
Okay.
But pain isn't conceptual. Pain is just a percept. Pain isn't smart. Pain is blind. And that's why my actual Post-it note for the week, I'll hold this up, and for you who can't see this on a camera, I will read it for you. It says, "You are smarter than your pain."
Oh.
So I tell you all that just to explain what's coming here. The Post-it note of the week is, you are smarter than your pain.
So you could apply that to say you're smarter than your insecurities, you're smarter than what you feel your weaknesses are, things like that.
Some of my insecurities are smarter than I am, and there are things I need to learn from them. But my pain is blind. Pain lies. Pain just tells you, oh, you are in a hurt state right now, and something is causing that. So
if you introspect and think to yourself, this isn't really actually hurting me.
Then you can say, I don't care about my pain.
Okay.
And I find, hopefully you will find, just knowing that I don't care about my pain diminishes the pain. Doesn't make it go away altogether, but I can ignore it. And all of a sudden it doesn't matter as much. So you are smarter than your pain. That's my Post-it note for the week. That's what's going to be sitting on my mirror for the next 7 days.
That's a
for me to
very
focus
interesting
on.
concept that I think that deserves so much more hashing out. But we're up against the hour here.
Oh.
Yep.
Holy heck. 5 minutes are almost up. So, unless there's something in the comments you think we need to respond to besides the fact that our audio is disappointing this week, then I will remind you that the show notes for this episode will appear within 10 minutes after the show, usually within 5 minutes,
Santa magic.
including all of those very interesting links that you will want to follow. All of that media, all of those special holidays, all of the rocking chair test information. Questions and comments you have on the show can be left in the comments of this episode or on the 5 Minutes with Robert Nasir Facebook group, including any suggestions you have for topics we should cover
Yes.
in the remainder of the year. No, just kidding. The year's over. 2021. Help us out with show ideas.
Goodbye. And if you need a song to listen to, look up June Christy. Sorry Sorry to See You Go.
That's right.
That is what
Listen
it's
to that
called.
show. It's super charming. The link is in the show
It's a
notes.
song.
Give it a listen.
Yeah, it's a song by June Christy, Sorry to See You Go. It's the perfect farewell to 2020 song.
It's a
you
New
can
Year's.
Even imagine.
It's a New Year's song. It's a song. You should listen to that on New Year's Eve.
Yes, it's so beautiful. I tell you, it's beautiful.
Yes, because New Year's Eve is coming. Remember, Benjamin Franklin said, "Be always at war with your vices, at peace with your neighbors, and let each year find you a better man." Well, damn it, I'm going to be a better man in the new year. I think I've been a better man most years.
Mm-hmm.
Anne Frank said, "What a wonderful thought it is that some of the best days of our lives haven't even happened yet." If somebody who went through what Anne Frank went through can say something like that, then I certainly can too. Yep. John D. Rockefeller, since we mentioned Radio City Music Hall, said, "Don't be afraid to give up the good, to go for the great." See, I've been good this year, but I need a year of saying, no, I need to see how great I can be before I get much older. You know, you don't want to get comfortable. And the last quote I'll have from Amy Peikoff's-Wall, "The best you'll ever be is waiting for you to catch up," which I thought was cute. So I couldn't resist that one. But with that said, I didn't mention, if you want to support the show financially,
Yes.
big shout out to Rebecca, who
Thank you, Rebecca.
contributed to the
Oh, my
show in a
goodness.
way that was so heartening for the holidays and made our Christmas a little better. All of you did. Everybody who's on patreon.com/Robert Nasir. Thank you so much for your support.
We can't wait to have a hug party just for you.
Well, and I can't wait to make the show even better too. Thank you.
Yes. More inspiration to come, folks, in
Yes.
2021.
2021 is going to be amazing. I hope all of you are looking forward to this year coming up. It's not just about the fact that eventually the vaccines will be out in numbers great enough to get things reasonably back to normal.
Yes.
But even just given what we've been through, what we've learned, and what we now know we're capable of, what a year it's going to be. Thank you so much. We've done 43 episodes of this show.
Wow.
We started on March 1st, which means in 2 months we'll have our annual, our 1 year show. 2021 is going to be great. So thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for joining us this year. Thank you.
So wonderful. Thank you. We're very, very grateful for your support. And we're so thrilled that you've been enjoying what we've been saying. And we're so thrilled that you've been giving us tips and you know, little rewards in Patreon. And
So we hope we've been inspiring. We hope we've been amusing. We hope we've given you some company. And we are not done yet. But we are done with this episode. So with that said, we wish you a joyous, prosperous new year, filled with success, filled with adventure, and filled with love.